Can we do like a rapid fire? I'll mention a guy from the locker room. Just tell me the first thing that comes to your head.
You got
Awesome. Triple H.
Loves the business. Can't imagine him doing anything else.
Batista.
Very, very underrated. People don't know. Knocked me out unintentionally one time. Steubenville, Ohio. We were practicing a move. We were coming out after the intermission. He threw me up. We're in one of those old school locker rooms. Cement beam going down. I went straight up. There's a good chance that the top skin of my head is still connected to that beam. But a good dude, and I'm so proud of where he's come and the fact that he's one of the ones I told you about, that when they told him you can't do movies, he bet on himself, and none of us thought he would get in some of the biggest movies in the world. So super proud of what he's done.
Booker T.
Tough, funny, talented, has evolved. I've always gotten along with him very, very well. And now with his school, he's paying it back, and he overachieved in marriage too, because his wife is incredibly, incredibly nice. And anybody that's ever met the two of them, what an incredible couple.
Nice. Steve Austin.
Love Steve. Still walked out on me one time. We were supposed to have a match on a pay-per-view, missed out on a payday. But I think he's a good dude. I think he believes in himself. And I wish more people believed in the business like he did and he does. And also, I think he's the most underrated host of shows on TV, maybe in the history of time. Not wrestling shows, but anything he has hosted, he's incredible at. So I've got a lot of respect for him.
John Cena.
To me, he's the best. And to me, being the best is way more than being in a ring. It's about utilizing your platform to the best of your ability, seeing him work with young kids, the Make-A-Wish. I traveled with him for a short bit. He's very, very serious about the business. But I saw him one time after 9 straight nights of drinking and paying the tab for everybody, because Ric Flair told him, if you're going to be the world champion, you got to act like a world champion. And that means paying for everybody because you're making more money than anybody. On the 10th night, he found out from Dean Malenko he was going to go 60 minutes with Shawn Michaels the next night on Monday Night Raw, put the beer down, and I watched him go 60 minutes the next night after 9 straight nights of drinking till 4 o'clock in the morning. To me, that will never be duplicated by my eyes ever again.
I hate the Cena haters, because if you look at the fact that this man was so exposed for so long and still was on top and getting a reaction, how is he not on your Mount Rushmore?
37%. I tell you, you want to talk about John Cena? I'm going to tell you 37%. And what's 37%? At his height, 37% of every dollar sold by WWEshop.com was a John Cena piece of merchandise. And if more people were invested in their own brand, and I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy to sell a t-shirt. It's not easy to sell a hat or to sell, but when he walked in the door, he was all business from noon until the show went off the air that night. He did not waste any time. And The Rock was the exact same way, which is why I don't think it's a coincidence that they're two of the guys that made the most money in the business, because they tried stuff. It didn't always work, but when it did work, man, they would take that to the moon. So I'll never hate on John Cena. One time I took a wrong turn. We were traveling together, and we showed up 2 minutes after the show started, and he was going to make me pay his fine, which he never did, but he was pissed that it was like in the mountains of Kentucky or somewhere, and you have to go all the way around, and we were late, and he hated being late. So that's one thing I remember.
Randy Orton.
As talented as anybody I've ever been around in my life. And he is a perfect example of you don't always have to be the person you were. I didn't always blame him when he was 19, 20 years old for doing all the stupid shit that he did. I just didn't like it. And he's grown up, and now he's respected in the locker room. By the time he just signed a new deal, 5 more years, he's going to be there, 25 years? To be at the highest level, to be in shape, to stay in shape for 25 years. I don't think people understand when you were working with your shirt off every week, there are no, hey, I'll take 2 weeks off and eat a bunch of ice cream. And he has evolved, but I'm so proud of him as a human being, just what I've seen from the outside looking in, because it's really, really hard to change when you're in that bubble for year after year, week after week, day after day. So, but he is unbelievably naturally talented in the ring.
Did you work with Bruce Prichard at all?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
Bruce?
I think Bruce has a really, really good wrestling mind. Bruce, like a lot of us, and I include myself in that, have different demons. But I think he's also navigated his career, and it's nothing short of a miracle that when it's very clear that TKO is getting rid of anybody connected to Vince, that Bruce has been able to keep that role this entire year. But super smart, one of the legendary characters in Brother Love in the history of the business, and he's always been good to me. And that's how I rate him, because I don't like people saying, "Oh, he's an asshole," but yet you've never met him or you've never had any interaction. You go, "Well, I see how he treated that person." I don't do that. He treated me good, so that's all I can say.
How'd you like working with Jim Ross?
People think we didn't like each other because, in the wrestling business, there's a lot of paranoia and there's a lot of jealousy. And I got put in a position. I think Vince just liked to see JR squirm, to be honest with you. And we did a lot of fun things, though. He's always good to me, nice to me. I don't think he wanted to do any of those matches that we did, the country whipping match or any of that stuff. He didn't feel comfortable with it because in the real world, there's not a universe that exists that JR is going to kick my ass. But during those times, I would learn from him. He's the GOAT. He is the voice of wrestling. I think Michael Cole has gained on him in recent years. And I think he was born to call wrestling matches. And I think that's the best compliment that you can give him.
Last one. How'd you like working with Jerry Lawler?
He's the best. I wish I had more of the King in me. The King cared about a couple of things. Making sure that every girlfriend he had was under the age of 30. And he was so naturally talented as a broadcaster. The ability to get in and out would allow JR to tell the stories. JR always wanted to set the tone, set the scene. He was so good with the descriptive words. And King was really good at, "Oh, puppies." Like the one word stuff. And I think he was really underrated when it came to that aspect. But to be able to build up your character in the local scene in Memphis, the regional scene, and then build it into what he did. And he was great, man. He was with me, and he was never a hater. King didn't care enough to be a hater of anybody. He just loved getting that paycheck. He always did the house shows on the weekends because he loved to wrestle. And I think a lot more needs to be given credit to guys that continue to wrestle into their 50s and their 60s. Instead of hating on them, say, listen, maybe they just like to do it. Most of them do need the money, but most of them just really enjoy getting that applause. And you've heard The Rock say it a million times, there is no substitute for this, getting that. And I think King, he would never admit it. But the fact that he was doing house shows into his 70s kind of told you how much he loved it. So he was, man, he just liked to have a good time. And you would never see him, hardly, until about 6 o'clock. He had that unbelievable knack. If we were not around, it's like, where's Coach at? Or where's this guy? Are these guys playing cards? Nobody cared what King did. He could hang out at the hotel all afternoon. It didn't even matter because he was so valued in that spot with JR. They're like, hey, as long as you keep delivering, we're going to leave you alone.
Coach, plug your stuff.
We got a lot going on right now as far as wrestling business. You see behind me, behind the turnbuckle. It's a brand that's really expanding. We've got a show Monday nights at 10 o'clock right after Raw, whenever that's going to end now for Netflix. But we also do interviews. I do a show with Vince Russo called The Coach and Bro Show. That is also all that's on the same YouTube page. We're getting ready to announce these shows will be on a bigger platform starting very soon. Excited about that. And then we have a sports betting brand, Driving the Line. It's every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time, also on YouTube, but also we're on Amazon Prime, we're on DirecTV, YouTube TV, and that is 7 days a week. We're live 6 days a week, on demand on Saturdays. So heavy in the world of sports betting and wrestling, and then I do PFL and the PGA Tour. So with all of that, I'm very, very busy, but I'm very grateful that as the media business has evolved, we've been able to evolve with it. And it's not just me. I've got a team. I've got a lot of good people around me, and we're going to see where we go. I feel like I have about 25 good years left, and I want to use them to do good things with good people and for good people. That's all I care about. I don't need any me stuff anymore. It's got to be about growing the brands and doing it the right way and having fun doing it. Because one thing I've realized through my wrestling career, through my family, is that we have no idea how long we're going to be able to do this stuff, whether it's not even just staying alive, but being able to be in this business and do this content and have people want to watch it or listen to it or be able to do, you and I, we've taken a few months to make this happen, but this is very enjoyable for me. And to me, that's what life's all about. And I've never understood the whole, hey, I'm here or you're here. We're all just breathing human beings that like the wrestling business or like sports. And that's all we try to do. And that's all I try to do every single day.